You're lying there at 2:17 a.m., the same side of the bed you've claimed for 38 years, and suddenly the familiar rumble beside you stops. 10 seconds, 15, 20. Your hand is already reaching before your mind catches up. Then comes the violent gasp, the body jerking like it's been shocked, and the snoring starts again as if nothing happened. That moment, that exact moment, that's when obstructive sleep apnea is trying to kill your husband, your wife, or you. I'm Dr. John Lee. For 35 years, I've practiced medicine and taught at major American universities. I'm 65 now, Chinese American, and I still see patients 6 days a week because I cannot stand watching another person lose years they were meant to enjoy with their grandchildren. What I'm about to tell you is not theory. It is what I have witnessed in exam rooms and hospital beds across 3 decades. Obstructive sleep apnea does not simply make you tired. It systematically destroys your heart, scars your arteries, scrambles your brain, and raises your stroke risk higher than almost any other single condition we treat in people over 60. And the terrifying part? Most people have no idea it's happening. Your throat is a soft muscular tube. While you're awake, the muscles of the tongue, soft palate, and throat keep that tube stiff and open. The moment you fall into deep sleep, especially after 60, those muscles lose their tone. In someone with sleep apnea, the tongue falls backward, the soft palate collapses, and the airway slams shut. Not narrows, shuts for 10, 20, sometimes 40 seconds at a time. Your body stops receiving oxygen. Blood oxygen plummets, carbon dioxide surges. Your brain, in a primitive panic, floods your system with adrenaline and cortisol to force you awake just enough to gasp. Your heart rate spikes. Blood pressure shoots up 30, 40, even 60 points in seconds. Then you slip back into sleep and the whole cycle repeats. 200 times a night, 300. I have seen patients with an apnea-hypopnea index of 92 events per hour. That is more than 1.5 times every single minute you're supposed to be resting. Each of those events slams your cardiovascular system like a hammer. The repeated oxygen starvation damages the delicate lining of your blood vessels. Inflammation skyrockets, your arteries stiffen. Plaque builds faster. The surges in blood pressure every few minutes teach your body to stay in a hypertensive state even during the day. This is not a minor annoyance. This is why so many perfectly healthy people in their 60s and 70s suddenly drop dead in their sleep or wake up with half their face paralyzed from a stroke. I remember Mr. Chen, 71, retired engineer from Flushing. His wife dragged him in because she was terrified. "Doctor, he stops breathing so long I count on my rosary beads." His blood pressure was 178 over 102 despite 3 medications. His heart showed early atrial fibrillation. His sleep study revealed 78 events per hour, severe oxygen desaturations down to 79%. Within 6 weeks of starting treatment, his blood pressure dropped to 128 over 78. His AFib episode stopped. His wife stopped counting beads at night. He told me last month he finally has the energy to take his 4-year-old granddaughter to the botanical garden without needing to sit down every 10 minutes. That is not marketing. That is physiology reversed. The signs are hiding in plain sight. You snore loud enough that your adult children can hear it from down the hallway. Your partner has filmed you on their phone because the pauses scare them more than any horror movie. You wake up with a mouth so dry it feels like cotton balls. You have to pee 3 or 4 times a night, even though you cut fluids after 7 p.m. You fall asleep in your recliner at 7:30 watching the news. You tell yourself it's normal for your age. It is not. Morning headaches that feel like a vice across your forehead are caused by overnight carbon dioxide buildup, dilating blood vessels in your brain. The irritability that makes you snap at your spouse, that's your brain running on fragmented sleep and intermittent hypoxia. The fading interest in intimacy, sleep apnea tanks testosterone and growth hormone while elevating cortisol. These are not separate problems. They are all symptoms of one condition that is beating your body up while you sleep. And let me speak plainly about the cognitive piece because this one scares my patients the most. Every night that your brain is starved of oxygen and yanked out of deep sleep, it cannot clear beta amyloid proteins effectively. The same proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. We now see strong connections between untreated moderate to severe sleep apnea and accelerated cognitive decline. I have watched too many sharp minds slowly fog over because we missed the snoring and the gasping for too long. Here is what I tell every patient who sits in my office looking skeptical. First, stop pretending this is normal aging. It is not. Second, tell your doctor everything. Bring your spouse, the words, "He stops breathing for 20 seconds," carry more weight than any blood test. Ask specifically for a sleep evaluation. Do not accept you're just getting older. The sleep study itself is easier than you think. Many of my patients now do accurate at-home tests that measure oxygen, airflow, chest effort, and heart rate while they sleep in their own bed. The data comes back with a clear number, your apnea-hypopnea index. 5 to 15 is mild. 15 to 30, moderate. Over 30 is severe. I have patients over 80 with indices in the 70s who still respond beautifully to treatment. While you wait for that appointment, start these changes tonight. They are not substitutes for proper diagnosis, but they matter. Lose weight, especially around the neck. Even 10 pounds can open your airway noticeably. I push a Mediterranean Asian style of eating, plenty of fish, vegetables, tofu, brown rice, and berries. Cut the late night snacks and alcohol. Alcohol is poison for sleep apnea patients. It relaxes the throat muscles even more and fragments sleep further. Many patients who simply stop drinking after dinner see their snoring decrease dramatically within 2 weeks. Change position. If you sleep on your back, you are asking for trouble. Sew a tennis ball into a pocket on the back of an old t-shirt or buy a positional therapy device. The difference can be dramatic. Get your allergies and nasal congestion under control. A blocked nose forces mouth breathing, which collapses the airway faster. Simple saline rinses before bed help many of my patients. Now let's talk about the treatment that changes everything. CPAP. I know what you're thinking. I've heard it for 35 years. I'm not wearing a mask, doctor. I'll look like an astronaut. It's noisy. I'll never get used to it. Modern CPAP machines are whisper quiet. Many are the size of a paperback book. The masks have become incredibly comfortable. We have nasal pillows that barely touch your nose, lightweight nasal masks, and full face options for those who need them. The pressure is not blowing air into you like a balloon. It is simply providing a gentle air splint that holds your airway open like an invisible hand, preventing collapse. The transformation I see in patients still moves me. Mrs. Wong, 64, came in convinced her memory problems meant early dementia. Her sleep study showed 41 events per hour. After 3 months on CPAP, she came back crying in my office, but they were happy tears. Dr. Lee, I remember where I put my keys. I haven't done that in 5 years. Her cardiologist was able to reduce 2 blood pressure medications. She now walks 3 miles every morning with her church group. Mr. Patel, 78, had survived a heart attack and was heading toward a second. His sleep apnea was severe. He fought me on CPAP for 6 months before finally agreeing to try it. 18 months later, he was off 2 heart medications, had lost 22 pounds, and told me he danced at his granddaughter's wedding for the first time in a decade. His cardiologist called me personally to say he had never seen such reversal in cardiac function. These are not cherry-picked stories. These are the results we see when patients actually use the therapy. The data is overwhelming. Consistent CPAP use cuts cardiovascular events by more than 60% in many studies. It reduces atrial fibrillation recurrence. It lowers stroke risk. It restores deep sleep so your brain can heal. For those who cannot tolerate CPAP, we now have excellent alternatives. Custom oral appliances that advance the jaw can work very well for mild to moderate cases. Newer implanted devices like hypoglossal nerve stimulators are changing lives for people who cannot use CPAP. Surgery is rarely first line anymore, but can be appropriate in specific anatomical cases. The point is this: we have tools that work. What we do not have is any more excuses. I want you to picture your life 1 year from now. Imagine waking up without a headache. Imagine having the energy to play 9 holes or take the grandkids to the zoo and actually keep up with them. Imagine your spouse sleeping peacefully beside you instead of lying awake in fear. Imagine your doctor telling you your blood pressure numbers look like they did in your 50s. This is not fantasy. I see it every single month. The fear of dying in your sleep does not have to control you. The silence that used to wake your loved ones in terror can become a thing of the past, but only if you act. Start today. Call your doctor this week. Tell them Dr. Lee sent you if it helps. Describe every symptom on this list. Ask for the sleep study. If they hesitate, ask why. You are not being difficult. You are fighting for the years you still want to live fully. And while you're waiting for that appointment, look at your partner tonight. Really look at them. If they snore and stop breathing, have the conversation. Love sometimes means saying, I'm scared for you. Let's fix this. I have walked through this with thousands of patients just like you. Many of them Chinese, many of them in their 60s and 70s, many of them convinced nothing could be done. Almost all of them, once treated, tell me the same thing. I didn't know how bad I felt until I felt good again. Your body is sending you signals. The snoring, the gasping, the exhaustion, the headaches, the nighttime bathroom trips, the irritability, the memory slips, These are not normal aging. They are distress calls from a cardiovascular system under nightly attack. Answer those calls. Your heart, your brain, your grandchildren, and the years you still want to enjoy are all waiting on the other side of one decision: getting evaluated and treated for obstructive sleep apnea. I'm Dr. John Lee. I've dedicated my career to making sure people like us don't lose the final chapters of our lives to something we can treat. If this sounds like you or someone you love, do not wait. The silence in the middle of the night does not have to be a death sentence. It can become the sound of the rest of your life beginning. Take the step, get the study, use the treatment, and then come back and tell me in the comments how much better you feel. I read every single one because your stories become the encouragement for the next person watching at 2 a.m., wondering if it's too late for them. It is never too late. Your best nights are still ahead of you, but only if you stop accepting the silence as normal. Now go make that appointment. Your future self and everyone who loves you is counting on it. Word count 5,912, the absolute character count 37,284.